So guys, welcome to my episode series 4. This is number 3, and it's probably the most important because it's all about side hustle, how to get money when you're struggling. And we all know that when you're actually making a film, it can take a minimum of 12 months with no income at all. If you're making a big feature, it can take 5 years when you're building the research to get it to screen time. So how do you live? How do you get money through those dark times? So this film really is in 3 parts. One of them is the best side hustles that you wouldn't have thought about, which keep you still working as a filmmaker. Other ones are grants, what grants are available, how to apply for grants. And the third one is a really important one about how to sell your films, how to get the distribution when you're not got the connections to get your film onto Netflix. So I really want to go through all those 3 different stages. You may want to subscribe to me to support this channel, to share it to other filmmakers, because it's really important that we support each other when we're having such a tough time at the moment. And also because a lot of the information I'm going to give you here, you're going to need a pen and paper to write stuff down. So you may want to come back again and watch this video with pen and paper to take all the details. So I really wanted to start with side hustles, really, because we all love filmmaking, but yet so many people that are making films at the moment are thinking about giving it up because they just don't have any cash. And one of the strangest things I found that because I haven't been trained as a filmmaker, I'm just a bloke that's passionate. I'm really an activist that became a filmmaker. And so because I come from that perspective, I've never been told what's the right way of doing things. So I've always had to do stuff that I thought's the logical way, which may not be the right way, but it's always been the logical way. The result being is that all my films have become successful. All of my films are sold all over the world, and against the odds, they keep selling and winning awards across the world. So I really wanted to sort of share that experience that I'm having, the good and the bad. But I also wanted to make clear that none of the organisations that I mention on my platform pay me. I think it's really important to be really true to yourself. And so I really want my videos to be really authentic, and I don't use AI. I'm not trying to glamorize anything. I'm really trying to help struggling filmmakers, whether you've been doing it for years and just can't seem to get the breakthrough, whether you're just starting out, or whether you're just an activist that wants to make a film. And so this is really what this is about. So the first side hustle really sort of came about really by accident. When my film of Faini Shakur and the trial of the Black Panthers had its premiere in October for Black History Month, I made a little film about the event, the structure, you know, the evening as it was, and then as people left, we did a vox pop. What surprised me, within probably 7 days, well, 5 days, I got the first offer. Within 7 days, I started to get job opportunities. People kept saying to me, Ray, I love what the idea of doing a vox pop with my film. It might be a really cheap way of promoting my film. Would you be willing to film the vox pop at the end of my film screening, wherever I am in the world, whether it's Holland, America, Margate, wherever? And although I declined it, I suddenly thought there's a huge market for filmmakers out there to work for film festivals. So then out of the blue, I got a film festival in Greece contacted me and said, Ray, love what you did with that. Would you be interested in covering our film festival? We will pay you. And then what you could be doing is doing the question and answering, filming the experience of the film festival, interviewing the different filmmakers, and then the filmmakers could have vox pops at the end of their film screenings, which they can then to show around the world their work. And I thought, actually, that's a really, really good idea. Although I don't have the time, you know, I've got my 2-pack biopic I'm just working on. I'm doing America's Most Wanted, the Assata Shakur story. I generally don't take on any more work because I just don't have the time. I have a seriously ill partner. So that takes up most of my time, and my film work now is my passion. And so I thought that's a really good opportunity as a side hustle for filmmakers out there. There's over 14,000 film festivals around the world. And so it's a really good opportunity for you as a filmmaker to approach film festivals, whether it's in your area, whether it's a wider, and say, look, hey, I would like to record and cover your film festival. You may even want to screen your own films at their festival. But I'll also do Fox Pops for your film directors that are screening their films for the first time. And so there's all these options of actually making extra film, meeting really extraordinary people at film festivals, possibly getting yourself better known, but also earning serious cash. So you can get like $500 to $1,000 a day for this sort of type of work, plus expenses, so your hotel, your flight, your accommodation, your equipment, an assistant runner if you need it. The potential for doing this sort of stuff is phenomenal. And so I thought this was a really, really good side hustle that you could be doing that costs you nothing, that can give you work from day one. And particularly the Fox Spot, because it's so difficult for filmmakers to break through. But if you do a Fox Pop, people can then share it on social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok. And if you can do those links, that's a huge market out there to actually do it. So you're still doing films, you're still doing other people's work, but it's bringing you a cash stream from day one. The other two areas that I think a lot of people miss is podcasts. There is like now, everywhere you go in every city, there's at least 4 podcast studios. The only reason that they don't operate 24/7 around the clock is because they don't have enough film crews to record the podcasts. So what you could be doing as a filmmaker is contacting podcasts, direct them. You know, if you see them on Instagram, whatever, and you see a film clip that you think could be slightly improved, particularly if they've got, say, 2,000 or 3,000 followers. If you're on social media, the break point for success on social media is 4,000 followers if you're on YouTube or whatever. So if you find people with 2,000 or less followers, or even 3,000, offer to do a film, offer to record their work so that they can then get the audience they need and the subscription followers to actually reach it to 4,000. So that's a really, really good tip. Costs you nothing, but instantly will gain you a lot of potential work. And again, you're still doing film work that you love. And there's also a lot of filmmakers out there that are declining work because they think, oh, it's not worth doing half a day. A half a day shoot quite often will pay you more than what most people earn in a week. So don't be put off by the time that somebody's offering to pay if it's just half a day, because quite often they'll pay your fee plus your costs and your expenses. So it could work out quite lucrative, and again, it's giving you cash coming in. The other aspect that's really, really important is people don't realise that the English language is still huge, even with AI. And so what you could be doing is selling your services. There's 2 good platforms, one called Fiverr and one called People Per Hour. And one of the really interesting, and I tried these myself to see whether they worked, and I got really strange work from it, but I got paid quite a lot for doing it. But there's a lot of people that need English-speaking people, or French speakers, for example, or even Spanish speakers, to do voiceover work. There's also, because of the rise of social media platforms in Malaysia, in the Middle East, and also in places like India, there is a massive, massive demand for film crews within the UK and other European cities. So again, what you should be doing is advertising your services on Fiverr and People Per Hour, costing you absolutely nothing, but also expand what you offer. So write down your skill set. Do you speak Spanish? Do you speak French? Do you speak English? Have you got equipment? Have you got editing skills, sound skills? You know, do you write? What are your skills? Write them on a piece of paper and add them to your profile on Fiverr and People Per Hour. And I promise you, within like 48 hours, you're going to get work, whether it's voiceover work, whether it's filming work. And be flexible. Quite often the Fiverr and the People Per Hour, they take a cut of your work. So please build in to your fee your figure that you actually need, and take into account that they will charge you a fee, or there's nothing up front to pay. And then from that, it's a really, really good way of building, you know, contacts and building a cash stream of money. The other thing is, you know, moving on from side hustle, I think all those side hustles will work for you, is also think about specialist events like LGBT History Month, Pride Month, Black History, International Women's Day. Everywhere you go around the world, there'll be a special event, a festival or something in your community. Why not contact the organisers and say, hey, why not employ me to make a film about your community projects, so that the whole community can see what a wonderful event this is. And then if we can actually make a great film, that will attract sponsors next year, and you could actually get more money via the film that you're going to employ me to make. So again, that's another option of approaching Pride, LGBT, History Months, local tourist board, local tourist attractions, even hotels or pubs that are just opening will want social media awareness. Some of them won't have a social media manager. Approach them, just say in your local pub, have you thought about doing social media? You know, 150 quid here, 150 quid there, suddenly you're on £1,000, £2,000 a week. So don't write yourself off, don't put yourself down, and realise that the skill set you have has real value, and there's a huge market out there, whatever they say. And although it seems to be there's less work, globally now there's more streaming services, there's more options for independent filmmakers, and there's more films in production than at any time in history. So don't give up this career. You know, just find ways of side hustling, of getting the grants and getting through what you need to do. The other big issue is obviously selling, getting grants. The problem with grants is it's complicated. You're not going to get the money straight away. Quite often you'll wait 12 months. The best way to get grants, think about what type of film you're making, and then search grants for this type of film, whether it's a documentary, a woman's story, horror film, black film, what disability issues, whatever the subject is within your film, really go out of your way to connect with other people so that your film could be part of Black History Month or LGBT History Month or International Women's Day or Men's Mental Health. Think about the links that your work has to certain key subjects, and then use hashtags, and then that will help boost and raise awareness of your work. In fact, I do PR marketing and film festivals in my final mini-series, which is number 4, which is out, but please subscribe if you can to my channel, spread the word, let's support independent filmmakers. And then the other issue is, with grants, again, in my earlier one I went about the importance of doing a poster with your strapline and a vibe about the film, which is like the first point that people are going to see and be aware of your work. The other thing that's really, really important is your business plan. If you haven't got a good business plan, I say in my earlier videos what you need to do, you won't get any money. So it's really, really important you seriously think about how you're going to do that. And it's also worth thinking, if you're looking at grants, looking at companies that might be interested in sponsoring or getting a product placement in your film. So all those things are worth looking at to get grants. But grants are there, but don't think you're going to get the money straight away. On average, it would take 12 months. If you're using a venue, quite often the venue might pay you in exchange for a credit of their hotel or some product placement there. You might have the tourist board in your area may give you some money because you're filming in their location. So there's all those things you've got to think about to help you, not just with grants, but also side hustling and earning revenue streams day after day. The other thing is selling your film, and I think it's really, really important that you find which platform to store your work. So the first system that I'm actually using is Vimeo on Demand. Why Vimeo on Demand? It has really good profile globally on the internet. If you have a film on Vimeo on Demand and click, if somebody's searching for your work anywhere in the world, Vimeo will probably come up along with Netflix. If you do stage 1, where you just actually get familiar with it and learn how to use it, it doesn't cost any money. So for a first-time filmmaker or someone who's just got his first work, use it. And then once you've got a couple of films on it, or even one good film, you can then charge for it. You can set the price for people to buy the film, people to rent the film, and you set the rate, although they will take a cut. That's clear in their terms and conditions. But you will expect to pay about $300 a year, which in UK pounds is about £230, something like that. And that is worth every penny, because you have total control over your work. You know who's watching your film, where it's being watched, the money, because so often with distributors, they will sign you up with a deal and you will never see your money. You suddenly get an email from Kurdistan, or what I did, Azerbaijan a year ago, people watching my film, and I thought, how are you watching it? It shouldn't be there. And it turned out that one of the distribution companies I was using, who had contract with me, was selling my work to East Europe, but wasn't paying me any money. And when I went back and complained, they said, well, you've got a 3-month contract, sue us. Because it's, you know, when you're a filmmaker, you don't have the money for that type of cost. So it's really important with distribution that you don't give any distributor contracts for more than 12 months. And you build into that agreement, but within 12 months you expect a deal. If you're not going to get a deal within 12 months, don't renew it. If they are going to get you a deal within 12 months, you will renew 2, 3, 5 years. But don't sell yourself away cheap, because so many people get exploited in this industry. The other one that's really, really important, and I'm doing the sort of costly ones first, is Film Hub. You've really got to be high on spec and tech to understand how Film Hub works. You know, for people like you and me that are making films, it gives you a real opportunity, particularly if you've won an award or been selected for film festivals, to actually get onto Apple TV, to get onto Netflix, because Film Hub now is one of the biggest ways for independent films to get onto mainstream networks. However, if you mess up more than 3 times trying to upload your stuff onto their platform, you just get kicked off. So it's not cheap. Again, it costs you about €300 a year. You have to pay up front, although there's a monthly fee, but you have to pay up front. It is worth it if you know what you're doing, because the chances are within 12 months you will be picked up by streaming service for your type of work. So it's really, really important if you can, but don't do it if you're a beginner. Only do it if you know what you're doing, or if you know somebody that knows how to boost it. The other one, which is slightly easier to do, which doesn't really cost you any money, which does a bit similar to Film Hub, and I do worry with Film Hub and others that they will run out of space to allow every independent to go on there. So you've got to be wary that more and more filmmakers will mean there's competition is tougher and it's going to be harder to be selected. The other one is called Bitmax, B-I-T-M-A-X. You can upload yourself. Generally they ask you to email them, you have to wait 3 weeks. I had to wait about 8 weeks before I got a reply, and I chased them about 3 times. So if you're doing distribution services, please email them, keep a record of it, the date that you expect them to reply by, and if they haven't, just send them another email, and it's worth giving a push. If you're doing short films, there's 2 quite good film streaming services. Every film streaming service will pay you money. Some will do like an advertising model where for everything that you upload, depending on your audience, you'll get money. Some will actually pay you a license fee, like Bitmax, Film Hub will pay you a license fee. And some will give you a contribution towards from screenings. So there's all some sort of network, but again, that may take you 12 months to get it. So Bitmax is a really good one. Email them, and that gets you again into all the big guys. The same as Tubi, Tubi. If you're into LGBT films and queer films, the 2 main platforms are Deco, D-E-K-K-O-O, or Revry, which is R-E-V-R-Y. And they both, again, it's invitation, you have to send them a poster, email them, and they will give you a chat over the phone. If they like your work, they will put you on their streaming services. There's other really, really good one called Film Do, D-O-O, which shouldn't be confused with Film D. Film Do, you can upload direct yourself. It's a really good service. Film D is probably the best customer service I've ever experienced from a film company. I had a problem uploading my work. I emailed them, and within 24 hours, they were offering to do the uploading for me. So that was a really, really good plus. So again, with a lot of these streaming services, remember it will take longer. So you need the side hassles to get you the money. And you know, if you're doing short films, you've got to remember it's tougher to earn money from short films. You've really got to use short films as an opportunity to promote your feature films and for funding for grants, etc., etc. So other great things to use. If you're doing sort of Black African films, a really good platform is Nollywood, Nollywood. Film D is the one I mentioned that has brilliant film service. Another one, Criterion, Criterion, really good. Means TV, if you're more than 12 minutes long. MHZ Choice is very good. And you've also got, which is quite an interesting one, if you've got an educational film that you want to get to students like in university and colleges, there's a system called Canopy, Kanopy, and that pays a license fee to screen your works in universities and colleges. So if you're doing historical, sort of accurate civil rights type of filming, that's the platform for you. So gang, so I hope that's really helped you today with all these different ways of earning some cash. Please update me if you're successful with any of these platforms. I wish you every success. Please again subscribe. My next clip, the next film that I'm just about to upload in the next couple of days, is going to be on film festivals and film distribution, which is really, really important. There's some real great hacks there that I promise you can get your films shown all over the world for nothing or with huge discounts. So that's my next film, and please share an awareness of this film, and be safe, and speak to you soon.